Okay, today's little nugget has to do with personal meeting room, and specifically this personal meeting room icon that's right here. Okay, how do we get that? How is it integrated? And how can I start a WebEx meeting or go into a WebEx meeting using my CMR side? Okay, so let's take a look at that real quick. First of all, to get this particular personal meeting room icon, you need to make sure, you need to make sure that your WebEx and your Spark systems are integrated. In other words, you've ordered them together and they're integrated as part of one system. And let me show you that here. So if we go to users, and what we're doing, we're using Anson Garcia here. So let's go to Anson Garcia. And then we can see here on the entitlement services here, we have WebEx and WebEx CMR check. So he has entitlement for that. Further, if we dig down a little bit further and we go into meetings right here, go in advanced meetings, and then we go a little bit further into named user licenses, and then from there we see we have Pro already on, and that's just because we've already checked this user for entitlement for Pro 200. But if we go here in user privileges, if we make sure, we have to ensure, and I have seen sometimes this is not checked. So I don't know if my system is an older system and it's been kind of upgraded as we go along, but I have seen one user that my personal room was not checked, even though I had turned on their M3 or their advanced meetings. So another thing to check if it's not working for you is this particular setting right here. Okay, we need go no further. Okay, so we just need that we need to make sure that personal room is checked either by default or we need to go check it again. We don't need to go any further into advanced meeting. I'm going to show you advanced settings just so you can kind of see a little bit of the settings for that particular user. Okay. All right. Now let's go back into this user's Spark application or Spark client. Now all I did, I created a space here, no big deal, and then I pushed that button, right, which then put that in my messaging box there, and then I was able to hit enter, just like so, and then that comes up here. So one of the interesting things here, it's a URL. We can see plainly it's a URL even if I hover over it. But if I click it, what happens is the Spark client recognizes this is a WebEx URL, and what it wants to do, or what it does, is dial the URI that's associated with it. So somehow underneath here there's some metadata on this link, I believe. So if I click that, you'll see that it's not going to launch a web browser. It's not going to cross launch a web browser and take me to WebEx. It's going to want to dial. Okay, so I can click join here, okay, and it's dialing the URI to my personal meeting room. Again, not the WebEx side. And there it goes, and then I can go in there and then
For the meeting host, enter the host PIN followed by pound.
And then
If you are not the host,
that's
pound.
telling me to enter my host meeting number now. But then I can do my meeting number, whatever it is, my host meeting number, and that's not it, by the way. The next thing I wanted to say is, let's just go back there. I wanted to show you that again. Again, it's a URL, but when I click it, it brings up the URI. So there's some underlying URI associated with that URL that's in Spark when I push that little button to put my WebEx in there. Now let's go see. You see I sent it to a space that has Jessica in it, okay, over here. So let's go take a look at what Jessica got over here. Now she got something very similar, and the same thing applies here. If I click that, it's going to want to dial the URI. You see how it does that? So the only way really that we can join the WebEx, and it's kind of hard to do because it wants to click to dial, but if I can kind of do that, And once I have that, I can right mouse click and copy, and then I can, you know, put that in a web browser of my choosing, and then go ahead and join the WebEx site. Similarly, Anson can do the same thing. When I've turned off advanced meetings and turned on advanced meetings, the one thing obviously that you need if you start a meeting like this is you need your PIN number, right? You need that PIN number because you're joining the URI way. You're dialing in with a video unit kind of, and you need that PIN number because it's going to ask you for that PIN. If you're the host, do the PIN number. Well, what is that PIN number? Who knows what that PIN number is? If I look on Anson's, for example, I just turned on and off Jessica Kasdan's PMR or advanced meetings. Okay, and if I look in her mailbox, what I want to get is I'm hoping to get an email like this right here so I can go set my PIN. Hey, you've got advanced meetings now, or you've got WebEx, personal meeting room. Click here to set it up. I did not get that. I got this message right here after I went in manually. So with Jessica, I turned on the advanced meetings and all that inside the Spark Control Hub, like you saw a second ago. And I had to manually go to my VZUcas.webex.com, sign in, and I'll show you this. Same password as my Spark. Obviously, they're SSO'd together. I get this to just my phone numbers. It's all the normal, regular stuff there. But you have to set up your personal meeting room preferences, specifically that host pin, and that pin then is going to be, after I set that, it's going to email me something, and then I'll know my PIN number. I have to set it, in other words. So this thing is not going to run out of the box, is what I'm saying, just because somebody sets it up. And so again, just to review, we need to certainly turn it on in the Spark Control Hub. We need to have, obviously, the entitlement for advanced meetings, and then we need to go kind of dig into that particular user, go to their meetings, go into their named user license here, and go into their user privileges and make sure their personal room is turned on. Now, my theory here is there's just a bug, and as soon as you turn that on, the person is going to get an email, and that email will then send them to the WebEx site to set up their personal meeting room, and that's when they'll get their PIN number, and they can save that PIN number. So that's really it, and then it starts working over here. And again, when you do that, that's what's going to, you've got to push enter there, and of course, again, when you do that, it's going to dial the URI. It's not cross-launching a web browser or anything like that. And then you click join, it dials in. You didn't hear it, but I heard it in my ear. It was asking for my PIN number, ready for my PIN number, and I had to do that on the dial pad. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. Hopefully this is informative, and thanks for watching.